Hey, I'm Scott Grove from Imagine Grove, and today I'd like to show you how I made this snowflake inlay out of crushed mother of pearl from Imagine Lay. It's really easy to do, and let me show you how I did that. So first thing, some of the tools you're going to need. Now you could carve this pattern with a Dremel tool, but I just like using a little V carving tool, a nice little handheld one, made it easy to go. My eyes are getting pretty bad, and even with the cheater readers don't work, so a visor makes that work a lot easier. A wire brush or a toothbrush helps for cleaning out your carvings at the end. And to keep your tool sharp, I like these little diamond sharpening plates. You can take your fine carving tool and keep your blade nice and sharp on that. This is a really handy tool. I also like to use an X-Acto knife. So I just used some spray-on lacquer. This is a Mohawk brand, but any spray-on lacquer, any finish will work. You can use an oil finish or an acrylic spray-on would be fine.
Now glue down your photocopy of your snowflake to your board that you want to carve. I like to use a squeegee to squeeze out all the glue and get it down nice and tight. Now score the main arms of the crystal with an X-Acto knife. This will make cutting with a chisel a lot easier and give you a nice straight line for your V-groove to run along. I also like to draw a circle around the outside perimeter and inside reference points just so I know exactly where to start my cutting. So take my V-groove chisel and run it down the X-Acto knife score. This will make a nice straight initial cut. I take my time and make sure I just get a nice first initial straight cut. Then from there I start widening the groove and tapering at the bottom to mimic the photocopy. I like to work my way around and do the main legs first, just so I make sure I have nice straight lines and everything is symmetrical and even, using the compass circle guides as a starting point. From there I do my secondary legs, working a little slower to make sure I don't overcut and cross the main leg. After those are done, I make very small cuts for those and little tips. This takes a little practice, but it's easy and quick work. And once you're done, with the white paper, copy paper, you can really see what you have. Now to help remove the paper, I wet it first. This will soak in and turn the paper white, and it just easily peels off. You can see here scraping with a knife is nice and loose, but I use a scraper. A few passes and then I have to clean my blade each pass, but this makes quick work of removing all the glue and the paper. I like to be sure I've got all the glue off, so I make a couple of really nice hard passes at the end. Then I use a wire brush and a little air to clean out the grooves. Since I did use water to take off the paper, it does raise the grain a little, so I will go back and just quickly clean out the peach fuzz of the grooves with a second pass of chisel and then go right to sanding. It's kind of neat when you're sanding because the sanding dust fills the grooves and you actually see what it's going to look like. Now I brush out the grooves again with a toothbrush and a little more air, and I'm ready to go. For this project, I simply sprinkle in some fine mother of pearl and rub it in with my finger, working it in across the grooves, making sure I fill in every single little crack. Then I like to try to brush off all the remaining mother of pearl so I don't end up gluing that to the board also. Then I take my thin CA glue and simply dribble it into all the grooves. Try not to get too much on there, but I want to make sure I fill in all the grooves. Then I like to kind of brush out the puddle, if you will, with my finger. I probably should be using a rubber glove, but I want to spread this out as thin as possible so it makes the sanding a lot easier. I can do this by hand or with a power, but I often just use a scraper. Scraper works fine, creates less dust, and I can make sure I got a nice flat surface. From here I draw another circle for my ornament size and cut it on the bandsaw. I cut it quickly, roughly to the line as close as I can, then take it over the disc sander and round it off real perfect, right to the line. And then I will finish it off sanding by hand and roll the edges ever so slightly. A couple coats of spray-on lacquer and brings out the iridescence of the mother of pearl and the grain of the wood.
So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you're in a crunch and you want to make a quick Christmas gift, this is a great homemade present. So I'll see you next time. Make sure you find the line, then cross it. And please visit my website at imaginegrove.com or my YouTube channel, Imagine Grove. So thanks again and have a happy holiday.